Last winter, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I decided to stay in the dorms over our Christmas break. My parents were expecting me to come back for the holidays, but I was a freshman in college, and this was my first time away from home. I had so much fun during the semester that I didn't want it to end. So I told my parents I wasn't coming. I expected a lot of parties in the dorms with the other students who chose to stay behind. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that literally everyone I knew would be gone. On my floor, only me and Creepy Carl decided to stay in the dorms. Creepy Carl lived a few rooms over, and he genuinely unnerved me. It was impossible to have a normal conversation with him because he'd always change topics to something morbid. I tried extremely hard to avoid him throughout the semester, and now I was stuck with him. On the first night of vacation, I was in my room when I heard someone walking and giggling in the hallway. It was creepy, high-pitched, some type of giggle that didn't sound like Creepy Carl. I assumed that meant that another student had stayed behind. I rushed to my door when I looked into the hallway, and it was completely empty. The giggling had stopped. Just to make sure, I knocked on all the doors to see if this giggling girl had entered one of the rooms. No one had answered until I got to Carl's room. It took him a few seconds to answer, and when he did, he was rubbing his eyes as if he'd just woken up. "Did you hear anyone giggling?" I asked. His eyes got wide, and all the sleeplessness disappeared from his eyes. He told me never to mention it again, and if I ever heard giggling again, I had to stay in my room no matter what. I asked him why, but all he would say was, "Stay away from the giggler," like it was some urban legend or something. Then he closed the door on me. I tried to forget about the whole thing. The next day, I walked across campus to grab some food from the supermarket. No one else was around. On my way back, I was crossing the snow-covered courtyard when I heard it again. The giggling was coming from behind the trees. It sounded exactly the same as last night. I was going to check it out, but Carl's warning replayed in my head. I rushed back to the dorms, forcing myself not to look over my shoulders as the giggling faded into the distance. I stayed in my room for the rest of the day, trying to convince myself that I was just imagining things.